Antakoti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Syamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Jamuna Devi ki jai. Ganga Devi ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Here we are in the Western World Headquarters of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, Los Angeles, New Dwarka, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, which is entitled Creation, Chapter 13, and today's verse is number 25. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasyapi Tava Deho Yam Kripanasya Jijivisho Paraiti Anichato Jirno Jaraya Vasasi Eva Tasyapi Tava Deho Yam Kripanasya Jijivisho Paraitya Nachato Jirno Jaravasasi Eva Tasyapi Tava Deho Yam Kripanasya Jijivisho Paraitya Nichato Jirno Jaraya Vasasi Eva Tasyapi Tava Deho Yam Kripanasya Jijivisho Paraitya Nichato Jirno Jaraya Vasasi Eva. Please chant. ladies. Anyone else? Tasya, of this, api, in spite of, tava, your, deha, body, ayam, this, kripanasya, of one who is miserly, jijivisho, of you who desire life, parayati, will dwindle, anicchata, even unwilling, jirna, deteriorated, jaraya, old, vasasi, garments, iva, like. Despite your unwillingness to die and your desire to live, even at the cost of honor and prestige, your miserly body will certainly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. Purport by the ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The words Kripanasya Jijivisho are significant. There are two classes of men. One is called the Kripana, and the other is called the Brahmana. The Kripana, or the miserly man, has no estimation of his material body, but the Brahmana has a true estimation of himself and the material body. The Kripana, having a wrong estimation of his material body, wants to enjoy sense gratification with his utmost strength, and even in old age, he wants to become a young man by medical treatment or otherwise. Dhritarashtra is addressed herein as a Kripana because without any estimation of his material body, he wants to live at any cost. Vidura is trying to open his eyes to see that he cannot live more than his term, and that he must prepare for death. Since death is inevitable, why should he accept such a humiliating position for living? It is better to take the right path, even at the risk of death. Human life is meant for finishing all kinds of miseries of material existence, and life should be so regulated that one can achieve the desired goal. Dhritarashtra, due to his wrong conception of life, had already spoiled 80% of his achieved energy, so it behooved him to utilize the remaining days of his miserly life for the ultimate good. Such a life is called miserly because one cannot properly utilize the assets of the human form of life. Only by good luck does such a miserly man meet a self-realized soul like Vidura, and by his instruction gets rid of the nescience of material existence. Tunadapi sunichena tadori vasahishnuna. Amanina manadina kirtaniya sadahari. Hare Nama, Hare Nama. Hare Nam Aiva Kevalam. Kalo Nastyeva. Nastyeva, Nastyeva. Gatir Anyata. So today's verse reminds us of another verse in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2. Chapter 2, Krishna begins his instructions about transcendental knowledge, because the first order of business is to understand I am not my body, I am not my mind, I am eternal spirit soul. That has to be understood clearly first. Then we can go on to higher topics. So in 20 verses, Krishna explains the difference between the body and the soul. One of those verses, Vasangsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya Navani Grinati Naro Parani Tata Shirirani Vihaya Jirnani Anyani Sanyati Navani Dehi. So the Krishna gives an analogy to help us understand what's happening. So you have old worn garments, so you give them up easily. You know you have new garments, so when something becomes old and useless and worn out, you discard it. What's the problem? And you accept new garments. You feel some little happiness. Oh, I have new clothes today. So in the same way, Krishna says, the body is just like a garment for the soul. So when this body becomes old and useless, you will get a new body. That is the understanding of reincarnation or transmigration of the soul. Later on, in chapter 18, Krishna will explain that the body is a yantra, a machine. We all have this experience. We get in our car, we turn on the key, we drive, we go about, come back home, get out of the car. It's not difficult to understand. There's a difference between the driver and the car. So in the same way, the soul is either the driver or the passenger, however way you want to look at it. And the body is just like a machine, a car. So that's how we begin to understand spiritual transcendental knowledge. From this point, this has to be understood clearly. And Vidura is pointing out to Dhritarashtra this very same fact in all these verses. So this section is a very nice section, because in my own life, I am just like Dhritarashtra. So I can identify with this section that Narada Muni is also speaking to me point blank. Hear what is stated in this section. Insurmountable eternal time imperceptibly overcomes those who are too much attached to family affairs and are always engrossed in their thought. So it's imperceptible. And we will all, if you haven't had it already, it's coming to a theater near you. One day you will look in the mirror. Oh my God, a gray hair. Oh my God. For some people, that's the end of the world. Gray hair. How did that happen? Imperceptible time. What does time tell Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita? The universal form was asked, "Who are you?" The universal form responded, "I am time, and I have come to destroy everything." So this material body has what is called planned obsolescence. They make the iPhones, they make so many machines, but they know exactly after so much time, you have to get a new one. It's called planned obsolescence. They don't make things to last forever, otherwise they go out of business. It's a whole scam. That's why Bhakti Siddhanta said, what is this material world? Cheaters and the cheated. So when you come to Krishna consciousness, when you step up to Srimad Bhagavatam, now you're not going to be cheated. Why? Because the second verse of Bhagavatam clearly stated, first of all, we are kicking out all kinds of pretentious religion. Religion for material improvement. We're kicking it out right from the start. We have nothing to do with this cheating religion. And what is Srimad Bhagavatam? The highest truth for the benefit of all. That is what we do when we come to the Bhagavatam class. We are hearing, we are imbibing the highest truth for the benefit of all. But there's a caveat. Who's able to grasp it? That's the key. Who can actually capture it? Nirmatsaranam, those who are free from envy and jealousy. All that derives from the bodily concept of life. You get off the bodily concept of life, you have nothing to be jealous or envious of. Mahatma Vidura knew all this, and therefore he addressed Dhritarashtra. So yes, Vidura, he is Yamaraj, partaking in this Krishna Leela, because it is very exhilarating to take part in Krishna Leela. We learn from Prabhupada's books that if you can perfect your Krishna consciousness in this lifetime, then you have to take one more birth. But that's a special birth. The birth in the universe where Krishna is performing his pastimes. And you are introduced to Krishna for the first time, or shall we say, once again. But you are introduced to Krishna, and you take one life in Krishna Leela somewhere in the material world where the pastimes are going on, and then you go back home, back to Godhead. But being on that roadshow, being part of that pastimes where Krishna's that universe where Krishna's pastimes are going on, that's the same as the spiritual world. Because when Krishna comes, he brings the spiritual world with him. Krishna is not in this, he's always in spiritual world. Always. It just comes down. So there's no difference. But that you have to perfect your Krishna consciousness by strictly following the 4 regulative principles and strictly chanting minimum 16 rounds of this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. My dear King, please get out of here immediately. Do not delay. Just see how fear has overtaken you. This frightful situation cannot be remedied by any person in this material world. My Lord, it is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as eternal time, Kala, that has approached us all. Whoever is under the influence of supreme Kala, eternal time, must surrender his most dear life, and what to speak of other things, such as wealth, honor, children, land, and home. Your father, brother, well-wishers, and sons are all dead and passed away. Yes, this is after the battle of Kurukshetra. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons, but Bhima killed every single one of them. He had nothing left. Everything was taken away. He still had Gandhari, his wife, faithful, chaste, dutiful wife, but all the 100 sons gone. Those of you who have children, you can have some appreciation of this. To lose your son is most horrifying. He lost 100. Unbelievable. You yourself have expended the major portion of your life. So this is where it comes home for me. Vidura is speaking to me. You have yourself have expended the major portion of your life. Your body is now overtaken by invalidity. Yes, day by day, it gets harder. It's painful. Don't grow old. Don't do it. It's not pleasurable. You are living in the home of another. Yes, the very people he tried to have killed in so many ways, he's now eating from their plate, at their mercy. That just shows how great the Pandavas were, especially Yudhishthira. That even though they tried to hurt them in so many ways, they cheated them, they abused their wife, so many injustices, yet Yudhishthira is still willing to serve Dhritarashtra and treat him as if he was the king. Because that was the whole thing with Dhritarashtra. He was too attached to the position. Couldn't give it up. So even after all the atrocities, Yudhishthira is so noble that he treats Dhritarashtra with respect, veneration, and love. It's unbelievable. You have been blind from your very birth, and recently you have become hard of hearing. Some of us are going through that. We're all coming to this Dhritarashtra phase of life. Blind from birth. And Dhritarashtra was also blind, that he could not see the wrong he was. Actually, he could see sometimes when it was pointed out to him that everything he was doing and had done was the wrong thing, because throughout his life, his father Vyasadeva would come occasionally and try to preach. Vidura so many times tried to tell Dhritarashtra, you're doing the wrong thing. You're going down the wrong path. So many people, great personalities, warned Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya, his servant, also warned him. This is the wrong thing you're doing. But Dhritarashtra, because of attachment, he was attached to his position. He was attached to his sons, headed by Duryodhana, and even he knew he was doing the wrong thing, couldn't stop it. Attachment. That's why we're told to become free from attachment, because it'll do us in. So Dhritarashtra was blind internally and externally. He could not see. And one time he did see. Krishna gave him eyes to see the universal form that Krishna exhibited when he came to the assembly for the peace proposal. Krishna knew that they would not accept it, but Krishna said, no, I must at least try. I must at least try. So Krishna went there. He went to Hastinapur in front of everybody and said, the Pandavas want peace. Very simple. We don't want a war. We want peace. You must give Yudhishthira his share of the kingdom. That was Krishna's peace. He wasn't capitulating. Peace was possible, but Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana had to keep their promise. Give the kingdom their share of the kingdom back. So, at some point, Duryodhana was trying to capture Krishna, arrest him. He figured, if we can arrest Krishna and capture him, we've won the war. Because the Pandavas are not going to defeat us if they don't have Krishna. So Duryodhana tried to capture Krishna. But who can capture Krishna? So Krishna manifested a universal form, and Dhritarashtra, for the first time in his life, saw. And then, at the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra, Vyasadeva gave Dhritarashtra the option. Dhritarashtra, if you like, I can give you vision and you can see the war. Dhritarashtra, no, no, no. So he then instead gave it to Sanjay. So Sanjay was given that mystic power by Vyasadeva to see what was going. But it was first offered to Dhritarashtra. But because he knew in the back of his mind, he knew it, he didn't want to see. But he just told me. Your memory is shortened. Your intelligence is disturbed. Your teeth are loose. Your liver is defective. And you are coughing up mucus. These are all signs of old age. And old age is the warning. Death is a-coming. Oh, death. There's a song called Oh, Death. It's a very powerful song. It's in a Christian setting, but they hit upon Vedic truths in that song. Oh, death. How powerful are the hopes of a living being to continue his or her life? I'm experiencing this right at this moment. Verily, you are living just like a household dog and are eating remnants of food given by Bhima. That must have hurt. Because Dhritarashtra liked the other Pandavas. He had no problem with the other, but it was Bhima. That's the one, because Bhima killed all his sons. After the battle of Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra accepted the Pandavas and he embraced each one of them. But Krishna knew the heart of Dhritarashtra. So when it came time for Dhritarashtra to embrace Bhima, Krishna knew Dhritarashtra is up to some rascaldom. So Duryodhana, while he was alive, used to practice fighting a metal form of Bhima. So as soon as Dhritarashtra was going to embrace Bhima, Krishna, by his mystic power, brought that metal Bhima, and Dhritarashtra is described. He had the strength of 10,000 elephants. He was that powerful. So he crushed the metal form of Bhima, and Bhima was saved. And then it was revealed. Oh, yes. So Krishna knew. This is why Krishna is the best. He knew exactly what was going on and saved his devotee. There is no need to live a degraded life and subsist on the charity of those whom you tried to kill by arson and poisoning. You also insulted one of their wives, and that was the real thing. Because of what they did to Draupadi, that was the real thing why the battle of Kurukshetra had to be fought. There are many reasons, but that one incident, because it keeps coming up, if you read the story, it keeps coming up. What they did to Draupadi at that Asatsabha, that was it. Now there had to be the war. They had to avenge what they did, what the Kauravas did to Draupadi. You usurped their kingdom and wealth. Despite your unwillingness to die and your desire to live even at the cost of honor and prestige, your miserly body will certainly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. So, question then becomes, what to do? Prabhu, you have said all these things. What is your solution? Yes, we have the solution. It's no good pointing things out without there being some solution. We have the solution. The solution is to surrender to Krishna and incessantly chant his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is our formula. Surrender to Krishna by means of this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And if we do that, then we will be delivered. As Lord Chaitanya says, it is the most feasible means of salvation in the age of Kali. So we have everything. It's all here. We have Srimad Bhagavatam, the highest truth for the benefit of all, understandable by those devotees who are pure in heart. And we have this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is non-different from Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So, shall we have some discussion? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Nirantara Prabhu, for inspiring class. So, we know that everyone is going to die. We know also Maharaj Yudhishthira said that this is something everyone knows but does not want to accept. What is it that is attaching us so much to the point that we get this gyan, but we leave this door and we forget about it? What is it that we are so...
Same problem Dhritarashtra had. We're attached. We're attached to this body. We're attached to our toys. When we were little children, we had toys. Now we're adults, we simply have bigger toys. So we're attached to our body. We're attached to our possessions. It's attachment. But you chant Hare Krishna, you do devotional service, little by little you will develop detachment. The trick is to continue to chant, hear, and render devotional service. Gradually you'll become detached. That's the key. We're attached. That's all. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. So you were mentioning that Dhritarashtra, he knew that he's doing the wrong thing, but still he continued to do that. So my question is, why sometimes, people do the wrong things even if they know that what he's doing is wrong? Why is it happening like that?
Why it's happening? There's several reasons. One reason is we do not keep good association. If you're constantly keeping good association, then that good association will rub off and you'll start to think, feel, and will differently. But if we associate with non-devotees, then by that association, we'll become imperceptibly contaminated. So that's why we try our best to associate with devotees. Another answer, Arjuna asked the same question in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. Why is one impelled to sinful acts? As if unwillingly. So Krishna says it's lust only. Remember, we left the spiritual world because we wanted to imitate Krishna. The enjoying principle is also there. It can be used to enjoy this material world, or it can be used to serve Krishna. If it's used to serve Krishna, then you are delivered. But if that enjoying nature is used to exploit this material world, we must suffer sooner or later. So, good association, good chanting, good reading, and fight. Stand up and fight.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes.
Thank you for a very thought-provoking class. I was in a hospital about 5 years ago, and I came to the conclusion that from this purport, I understand that Dhritarashtra is being asked to, go in and leave his body, basically. It's kind of like come down to that. And when I was in the hospital, I realized that there's a whole army of people out there whose paycheck depends on keeping you alive, and their whole career and success and their self-esteem depends on whether they can put tubes in you and, sustain you with drugs. And it seems to me that we're up against a real opposition in terms of just peacefully leaving our body. And I wonder if you have anything to say about that.
Well, as I said, I am in Dhritarashtra's Sampradaya. But my mother used to always tell me, Nikki, where there's a will, there's a way. So, because you are a devotee, how are you a devotee? You chant. Lord, the Bhagavatam says anyone who does Sankirtan is Sumedasa, intelligent. So you have to be intelligent. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a devotee, you wouldn't chant, and you wouldn't still do Sankirtan. You still do Sankirtan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're Sumedasa. You've got intelligence. So with that intelligence, guided by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, all your problems can be solved. Use your intelligence, take advice from your Guru, take advice from Prabhupada's books, and move accordingly. But, as my daughter says, don't throw in the towel. We should try to stay alive as long as possible, provided it's for the purpose of preaching. So I've said publicly many times, I've asked audiences, please bless me that I can live to be 108, provided I'm still preaching. Not 108 and just watching television. No, I want to stay to 108, but I want to do what I do. So we can pray like that. My Lord, give me health, give me strength, so that I can continue doing. We're soldiers. We are Lord Chaitanya soldiers. So a soldier tries to stay alive as long as possible to defeat the enemy. We have to defeat Maya, illusion, ignorance, gross materialism, hooliganism, all the isms. So, may you get strength and rejuvenation.
Thank you.
Haribol. Yes, Archita.
Her question is actually relevant because, as you said, we're all on the Dhritarashtra path. And to counteract this pernicious society that we live in with the army of people who want to keep you alive at all costs so they can take money from the government, we have to continue to expand our hospice network. A lot of devotees are getting into that area of life, creating hospices so that older devotees can go and leave their bodies in dignity. Because if you don't have that, if you don't have a hospice situation, if you don't have a living will, the government machine will grab you and squeeze as many dollars as they can out of you before you leave this body. And we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want to. But some of them are actually concerned. When I was in the Potomac Temple, I was invited to speak in a forum. The hospital set it up because they wanted to know how to deal with people from different faiths who are about to leave their body. So they wanted to know, how do we deal with a Hare Krishna who's about to leave their body? So I told them exactly what to do. Call the temple and get a devotee to come here as soon as possible. But if that's not possible, then keep a picture of Prabhupada, of Krishna in your hospital. Keep some holy water, we can provide it to you. Like that. Put some tulsi leaf on their mouth, and we can give you at least the paraphernalia. And we explain to them clearly what our conception of leaving the body is all about. Otherwise, they don't know. They have no idea. So they'll just treat you like any other body and, squeeze as much life out of you, money out of you, and then just throw you in the morgue. They have no idea what we want. So we should let it be known. Personally, individually, make sure you have a will. It doesn't mean you're writing your own death sentence if you write a will. We should have wills. Every one of us has some possessions. Make a will. What I want to happen to my possessions. Do you want it to go to your material family or your spiritual family? Our recommendation is both. Give the material family at least a little something so they don't get too agitated. And the rest of it you give to Krishna for pushing on Krishna consciousness. Amala Bhakta Maharaj just called me a few nights ago and made it clear to me that he's ready. And he already has set up what he wants to happen to his money. So we should all do that. We should all, whatever you possess, make a will. Tell the court what you want to happen. And with your body, what you want to have happen to it. Don't take my liver, don't take my eyes for science, Just let the body be burned. Hare Krishna.
Good luck fighting Maya. Hare Krishna.
Nirantara Prabhu ki